communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanzeeba Naureen. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Joe Biden's son Hunter pleads not guilty to federal firearms charges. Speaker McCarthy's job at risk after House votes to move ahead with Herd Right effort to oust him. New York judge issues limited gag order after Trump makes disparaging post about court clerk. John Kelly confirms Trump privately disparaged U.S. service members and veterans. Former Detroit Police Chief James Craig enters the GOP Senate race in Michigan. Butler sworn in to replace late California Senator Feinstein, third black female senator in U.S. history. Family of Charlotte Sena, girl abducted from New York Park before being found safe, expresses relief as suspect is charged. India tells Canada to withdraw 41 diplomats over Sikh murder rift, report says. Pope Francis hints at blessings for same-sex couples. Three scientists win Nobel Prize in Physics for looking at electrons in atoms during split seconds. Turkey arrests dozens after Ankara attack. Severe drought hit linked to deaths of dolphins in Amazon River. Tendulkar named ICC Global Ambassador for World Cup. And Lionel Messi's status is still a mystery as Inter Miami prepares for an MLS match at Chicago. You were listening to Headlines, now news in detail. Joe Biden's son Hunter has entered a not guilty plea to 3 firearms-related charges, moving the case closer to a potential trial ahead of the 2024 elections as his father seeks re-election. The 53-year-old appeared in court in the eastern state of Delaware on Tuesday to enter a plea to the federal charges after a plea deal that would have avoided lengthy legal proceedings failed to move forward. U.S. Magistrate Judge Christopher Burke has said the president's son, whose legal issues and history of scandals are a favorite target of Republican lawmakers, should receive no special treatment. The charges revolve around an allegation that Hunter Biden lied about his history of drug use on a form to buy a firearm in October 2018. A plea deal that would have swiftly concluded the criminal proceedings fell apart over the summer. The president's son has become a lightning rod for criticism from Republican politicians and conservative media figures who have alleged with little evidence that the elder Biden sits at the center of a vast network of corrupt business activities. Hunter Biden has not been charged with any crimes connected to his foreign business activities and denies any wrongdoing. But the prospect of a trial during the period running up to the November 2024 elections is sure to galvanize such efforts by Republicans, who are currently mounting an impeachment inquiry into the president. Hunter faces 2 counts of making false statements and one of illegal gun possession, crimes punishable by up to 25 years in prison. Speaker Kevin McCarthy's grip on the gavel was at serious risk Tuesday after the House voted to move ahead with the historic effort by hard-right critics to oust the embattled Republican leader from the job. The dramatic showdown forced by McCarthy's chief rival, Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, brought together more than a handful of conservative Republican critics of the Speaker and many Democrats who say he is unworthy of leadership. Voting was underway in a dramatic roll call. It will take just a simple majority to remove McCarthy from the Speaker's office. While he has support from most Republicans, a handful of conservatives can overpower McCarthy's slim majority if Democrats don't step in to help. It's a stunning moment for the battle-tested McCarthy and serves as his most savored challenge yet, a potential punishment fueled by growing grievances but spurred by his weekend decision to work with Democrats to keep the federal government open rather than risk a shutdown. An earlier vote was 218-208 against tabling the motion, with 11 Republicans allowing it to advance. The House then opened an extraordinary floor debate unseen in modern times ahead of the next round of voting on what could be a motion to vacate the chair, something that has not happened in Congress in a century. McCarthy of California insists he will not cut a deal with Democrats to remain in power, nor that he could rely on their help even if he had asked. A New York judge imposed a limited gag order on defendant Donald Trump Tuesday after the former president disparaged a key court staffer during his civil business fraud trial. Judge Arthur Engoron issued the order, which applies to all parties in the case and pertains only to verbal attacks on court staff. It came after Trump recirculated a disparaging social media post about Engoron's principal law clerk, Alison Greenfield. Personal attacks on members of my court staff are unacceptable, not appropriate, and not tolerated, Engoron said. Trump had already deleted the post. At midday, Trump and lawyers for both sides twice went behind closed doors, the reason not immediately clear. That came during a lunch break when journalists and others had already been cleared out of Judge Arthur Engoron's Manhattan courtroom. Then, without explanation, Trump deleted a disparaging social media post about Engoron's law clerk. The message had been posted on Trump's Truth Social platform earlier in Tuesday's court session. Principal law clerk Alison Greenfield sits by the judge's side and frequently confers with him during proceedings. With Trump attending the trial for a second day, New York Attorney General Letitia James' attorney questioned an accountant in an effort to build the state's case that Trump and others at his company had full control over the preparation of misleading and downright false financial statements at the heart of the lawsuit against them. And Engoron set the record straight about a comment that the ex-president had touted as an important victory. Former Trump White House Chief of Staff John Kelly is blasting his one-time boss over disparaging remarks he says the then-president repeatedly made about service members and veterans and for what he called Trump's untruthfulness about his positions on various groups as well as on abortion. In a statement to CNN published Monday, Kelly delivered a scathing criticism of former President Donald Trump, while confirming reporting in The Atlantic in 2020 that detailed the comments he made during his presidency. A person that thinks those who defend their country in uniform or are shot down or seriously wounded in combat or spent years being tortured as POWs are all suckers because there is nothing in it for them, Kelly said of Trump. A person that did not want to be seen in the presence of military amputees because it doesn't look good for me. A person who demonstrated open contempt for a Gold Star family for all Gold Star families on TV during the 2016 campaign and rants that our most precious heroes who gave their lives in America's defense are losers and wouldn't visit their graves in France. James Craig, the former Detroit police chief who was disqualified from Michigan's Republican primary for governor last year after failing to collect enough valid signatures, announced Tuesday that he will seek the state's open Senate seat in 2024. Craig's decision sets up a potentially fractious primary in a state where the GOP recently has suffered historic losses, in part by nominating candidates who hew closely to former President Donald Trump and his election conspiracy theories. Former Representative Mike Rogers, a Republican with establishment appeal who has been critical of Trump, is already in the race. Craig has signaled that he will align himself more with Trump's vision for the party. Americans want better and they want something different, and we are going to give it to them, Craig says in a video posted to his new Senate campaign website. The video, which features footage of past interviews with former Fox News commentator Tucker Carlson, emphasizes issues like crime and includes images of Craig in uniform. "I am James Craig," he says straight to the camera at the end of the video, "and I am running for U.S. Senate." Former union leader and Democratic insider LaFonza Butler was sworn in as the newest member of the Senate on Tuesday, replacing California Senator Dianne Feinstein after her death and becoming only the third black female senator in history. Butler was appointed by California Governor Gavin Newsom on Sunday, just 2 days after Feinstein died at her home in Washington. Butler is a longtime fundraiser and strategist in the state's Democratic circles and was the head of Emily's List, a national organization that raises money for women candidates who support abortion rights. On the Senate floor Tuesday, Butler was sworn in by Vice President Kamala Harris, who served as the second black female senator until she resigned in 2021 to join President Joe Biden in the White House. The first was Democratic Senator Carol Moseley Brown of Illinois, who served one term in the 1990s. The Congressional Black Caucus was also holding a ceremonial swearing-in for Butler. Her background and years of experience will bring a much-needed perspective to the Senate, which currently does not have any black women, CBC Chairman Stephen Horsford, Democrat of Nevada, said in a statement after she was appointed. Butler is also the first openly LGBTQ+ senator from California. The family of Charlotte Senna, the 9-year-old girl who authorities said was abducted from a New York State park Saturday before she was found alive hiding in the cupboard of a trailer 2 days later, shared a message of relief as a suspect was arraigned on a kidnapping charge. "We are thrilled that she is home, and we understand that the outcome is not what every family gives," Jean Senna, Charlotte's aunt, said in a statement. "A huge thank you to the FBI, the New York State Police, all of the multiple agencies that were mobilized, all of the families, friends, and hundreds of volunteers for assisting in her safe return," she added. The suspect, Craig Nelson Ross Jr., was arraigned overnight on a charge of first-degree kidnapping in Milton Town Court and was remanded into Saratoga County Jail without bail. Additional charges are likely, the state police said. His next court date is set for October 17. Charlotte Senna disappeared Saturday night while riding a bike by herself at a Murray Lake State Park. An Amber Alert was activated Sunday, and over 400 certified search and rescue personnel searched for her Monday. Now it's time for global updates. India has told Canada that it must repatriate 41 diplomats by October 10, according to the Financial Times newspaper. Ties between India and Canada have become strained over Canadian suspicion that Indian government agents had a role in the June murder in British Columbia of a Sikh separatist leader and Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who India had labelled a terrorist because of his advocacy for Khalistan, an independent Sikh state. India has dismissed the murder allegation as absurd. The Financial Times, quoting people familiar with the Indian demand, reported on Tuesday that India had threatened to revoke the diplomatic immunity of those diplomats told to leave if they remained after October 10. Canada has 62 diplomats in India, and India had said that the total should be reduced by 41, the newspaper said. The Indian and Canadian foreign ministries did not immediately react to the report. Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar said earlier there was a climate of violence and an atmosphere of intimidation against Indian diplomats in Canada, where the presence of Sikh separatist groups has frustrated New Delhi. Pope Francis has appeared to leave open the possibility of priests blessing same-sex couples if they are limited, decided on a case-by-case basis, and not confused with the wedding ceremonies of heterosexuals. Francis made his opinion known in one answer to 5 questions from 5 conservative cardinals from Asia, Europe, Africa, the United States, and Latin America. The cardinals sent the Pope a set of formal questions known as dubia, doubts in Latin, about issues relating to a global gathering that starts at the Vatican on Wednesday. One of the questions specifically regarded the practice, which has become relatively common in places like Germany, of priests blessing same-sex couples who are in a committed relationship. The written exchange took place in July, and the Vatican published the Pope's responses on Monday after the 5 cardinals unilaterally disclosed their initiative, saying they were not satisfied with Francis' answers. The Pope's nuanced response differed from an explicit ruling against such blessings by the Vatican's doctrinal office in 2021. 3 scientists won the Nobel Prize in Physics on Tuesday for studying how electrons zip around the atom in the tiniest fractions of seconds, a field that could one day lead to better electronics or disease diagnosis. The award went to Pierre Agostini, Hungarian-born Ferenc Krauss, and French-born Annie Lurer for their work with the tiny part of each atom that races around the center and that is fundamental to virtually everything: chemistry, physics, our bodies, and our gadgets. Electrons move around so fast that they have been out of reach of human efforts to isolate them, but by looking at the tiniest fraction of a second possible, scientists now have a blurry glimpse of them, and that opens up whole new sciences, experts said. The electrons are very fast, and the electrons are really the workforce in everywhere. Nobel Committee member Mats Larsen said, "Once you can control and understand electrons, you have taken a very big step forward." Luilier is the 5th woman to receive a Nobel in physics. Turkey on Tuesday arrested dozens of suspected Kurdish militants and their supporters after an attack on the government district in the capital Ankara injured 2 policemen. The raids across a swathe of Turkey's predominantly Kurdish southeast came 2 days after a branch of the PKK, listed as a terror group by Turkey and its Western allies, claimed responsibility for Sunday's attack. Turkish police shot dead one of the attackers while the other died in an apparent suicide blast outside Turkey's Interior Ministry. The attack came hours before President Recep Tayyip Erdogan attended an opening session of parliament. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya said security services had detained 67 terrorist organization members across 16 provinces. The carcasses of 120 river dolphins have been found floating in a tributary of the Amazon River over the last week in circumstances that experts suspect were caused by severe drought and heat. Low river levels during a severe drought have heated water in stretches to temperatures that are intolerable for the dolphins, researchers believe. Thousands of fish have died recently on Amazon rivers due to a lack of oxygen in the water. The Amazon River dolphins, many of a striking pink color, are a unique freshwater species found only in the rivers of South America and are one of a handful of freshwater dolphin species left in the world. Slow reproductive cycles make their populations especially vulnerable to threats. Amid the stench of decomposing dolphins, biologists and other experts in white personal protective clothing and masks continued on Monday to recover the dead mammals from a lake and conduct autopsies on the carcasses to determine the cause of death. The scientists do not know with certainty that drought and heat are to blame for the spike in dolphin mortality. They are working to rule out other causes, such as a bacterial infection that could have killed the dolphins on a lake formed by the river Teifi before it runs into the Amazon. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,230.01. The NYSE Composite is decreased by 168.20 points or 1.09%. Tokyo stock close price is 31,237.94. The Nikkei 225 index is decreased by 521.94 points or 1.64%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,110.48. The Shanghai index is increased by 3.16 points or 0.10%. Hong Kong stock close price is 17,331.22. The Hang Seng index is decreased by 478.44 points or 2.69%. Bombay stock close price is 65,512.10. The Sensex index is decreased by 316.31 points or 0.48%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. The International Cricket Council announces India legend and Bharat Ratna Sachin Tendulkar as the global ambassador for the Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 with just 2 days to go until the pinnacle event of the one-day game gets underway. The Master Blaster, who has an enviable record of featuring in 650 over World Cups in his decorated career, will walk out with the Men's Cricket World Cup trophy before the opening match at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, declaring the tournament open. Sachin Tendulkar said, "From being a ball boy in 1987 to representing the country in 6 editions, World Cups have always held a special place in my heart. Winning the World Cup in 2011 is the proudest moment of my cricketing journey. The biggest cricket World Cup ever will also witness an eclectic cast of ICC ambassadors, West Indies legend Vivian Richards, South Africa's AB de Villiers, England World Cup winning skipper Ian Morgan, Australia's Aaron Finch, Sri Lanka's spin great Muttiah Muralitharan, New Zealand's Ross Taylor, India's Suresh Raina and ex-captain Mithil Raj, and Pakistan all-rounder Mohammad Hafiz. Lionel Messi was on the practice field with Inter Miami on Tuesday, though it remains unclear when or if the seven-time Ballon d'Or winner will play with the team again this season. Inter Miami coach Gerardo Tata Martino declined to provide any timetable regarding Messi when he spoke with reporters before the practice session. The team, which is still trying to make Major League Soccer's playoffs, plays at Chicago on Wednesday. Messi has been listed as day-to-day for much of the past month and barely has played in that span. The 36-year-old Messi has missed 4 of Inter Miami's last 5 matches, plus another for Argentina in that span because of what was first called fatigue by both his club and country, and has evolved from there. The only game he didn't miss during that stretch was a 37-minute appearance against Toronto on September 20, and he had to leave that match before halftime because of a hamstring issue. Messi made an appearance Monday night at the team's stadium to promote the launch of a children's menu bearing his name at some Hard Rock properties around the world. He was not made available for comment to most media outlets that were in attendance at the event, and no update on his injury was provided. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Joe Biden's son Hunter pleads not guilty to federal firearms charges. Speaker McCarthy's job at risk after House votes to move ahead with hard right effort to oust him. New York judge issues limited gag order after Trump makes disparaging post about court clerk. John Kelly confirms Trump privately disparaged U.S. service members and veterans. Former Detroit Police Chief James Craig enters the GOP Senate race in Michigan. Butler sworn in to replace late California Senator Feinstein, third black female senator in U.S. history. Family of Charlotte Senna, girl abducted from New York Park before being found safe, expresses relief as suspect is charged. India tells Canada to withdraw 41 diplomats over Sikh murder rift, report says. Pope Francis hints at blessings for same-sex couples. Three scientists win Nobel Prize in Physics for looking at electrons in atoms during split seconds. Turkey arrests dozens after Ankara attack. Severe drought hit linked to deaths of dolphins in Amazon River. Tendulkar named ICC Global Ambassador for World Cup. And Lionel Messi's status is still a mystery as Inter Miami prepares for an MLS match at Chicago. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.